All right, today I'm having a little bit of lipstick trouble. You'll have to excuse me. It's still better on than without because otherwise, I try to look somewhat decent, but I'm not a pro at putting on lipstick or makeup. And this stuff like gets everywhere when I use it because it's the cheap stuff. I'm not rich or anything. I wanted to talk today a little bit about power and responsibility and why it's not happening in the U.S. Basically, we have these people who are planning on, well, they work with the government and they've kind of like, it's kind of like how Bill Gates is like a boa constrictor and gets around things and tries to control them. These elites have come together and decided that they're the new gods and they're going to overthrow all the leaders in the world and there'll be world domination. And I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, that's what they're doing. But they're going to learn pretty fast that humans cannot handle power by themselves. They say absolute power corrupts absolutely, but the problem is it just makes you mad because the world can be so chaotic, and they'll break up and then they'll fight with each other just like if they were the same lords that were there before, or make it even worse. Yeah. So I've had a pretty helpless life. I can't do a lot back because I'm disabled, and so I end up getting really abused. And usually, like, if you notice, like, a lot of disabled people, like, I know this girl who works at Sam's Club who's disabled, and she has a lower IQ than I do. And not to be rude to her, but she's very wise, and that's what happens to disabled people. We just kind of like try to avoid the world, but someone like me who is passing normal, or was before I got really fat, because when you get fat and your body changes and stuff, people are more likely to accept that there's something wrong with you than when you look pretty, you're blooming or whatever. And I could pass, but I tried to isolate myself away from people, and it was just a nightmare. I mean, they've known since I was 7 that I wasn't going to go anywhere in life. Oh yes, I have it on my chin. It kind of shows better. Oh. Anyway, they knew I wasn't going to go anywhere in life, and they could have, like, taken me aside, but they put me in special ed. And I was talking about this on a web forum the other day. I'm like, well, putting me through upper science and math classes, like beyond like algebra 1 or pre-algebra, was pointless, and it created a problem where there was a toxic learning environment because I was unable to do what I should have been able to do, or if I weren't disabled, what I would be able to do, and the teacher would get frustrated with me. And then the other kids would see the teacher mistreating me, and then they'd mistreat me, and then they knew I couldn't do it, so they assumed I was stupid, which I am stupid. But I mean, I didn't ask to come to this world, and until they do genetic screening, or they, I don't know, I just think it's impossible for humans, because I'm the one that makes poor people look like they must all be stupid, because I'm stupid, so I don't deserve anything, and that's kind of like a nightmare. I mean, I was just like, I'm not going to have kids, I'm not going far in life, I'm just going to go to the library and read, and that ends up getting mixed up because people have power over me, and a lot of people can't handle power. It's not, and again, with the absolute corruption thing they say, it's just like they go mad. But the thing is that a lot of people just can't handle it, and that's why they don't have power, and that's why we vet people who are going to come into power, or we should. We're not really doing that anymore with lobbying and all that, and it's just become a nightmare because ordinary people are getting poorer and poorer, and their lives are getting worse and worse. And then they throw all these drugs and alcohol at us, and then they think, well, people make bad choices or whatever, and now you've got to get up and fight, and it's like it doesn't work like that. So now they're destroying our brains, and you can just buy it on the dark web. I mean, there's videos of them torturing me, and it's just like, for the love of God, you know what? I mean, I can't even say that and sound right. Like, Marilyn Manson's an Asian. I've already said that since Elvis, you can look it up, the singers, the songs, whatever. They're there to degrade us or to make us go certain ways, and they feel oh so powerful as programmers or whatever. And it's just a nightmare. It's like, okay, Kayla, at 7, you're obviously going to have a hard life. And we need to make these changes in your life, and we need to start teaching you a trade, or we need to work on what you absolutely have to know, because in special ed, they flooded me with packet work, made me go to the room. I didn't hear the teacher's lectures when I was younger, like when you're still developing and there's a chance you might be normal all the way. And I mean, it's just, they've pretty much, and I can't say because of the cliches in society, like, oh, life isn't fair, it's like, but they put me on a path to sheer failure, and then they were surprised. I mean, I fought back so much. I got on the bicycle. I was thinking about that today when I went and visited my grandma, who's going to die soon. I mean, I love her to death. She's 91, but we all have to accept she's going to die. And without her, I'm going to, yeah. But anyway, on my bicycle, I mean, I was free. I was like, Mom wouldn't let me have a car. Mom wouldn't teach me how to drive. that kind of stuff. I was like, fine, whatever, I'll get on this bicycle, and I was free. Those were some of the best years of my life, even though I had to go 11 miles to school and back. I mean, 11 miles there and 11 miles back. And those memories of me being on that bicycle, I mean, sometimes it was hard. Sometimes it hurt me. Sometimes because I have Raynaud's and I'm sensitive to cold weather. But not as sensitive as some Russians are, ironically. But we're not going to get into that. But anyway, I had Raynaud's going up my arms and into my heart and stuff like that. And it hurt so bad, but it taught me so many lessons. And it's just like, I've always tried to overcome these things. And it's just, I'm not allowed to. And I mean, as a child, I didn't realize that how difficult things could be or how much I could be hurt. Like before I was like, you know what, fine, do this to me, I'll just get around it. But my will has ended up killing me a few times and I just come back, it's like, hello, whatever.